Heidi ho neighbors, Radio Goji here, and welcome to Squeeze the World Gaming. And today, I'm not going to be doing a standard Let's Play like I normally do. This video is actually going to be more in tune with the toy reviews that I do, if you haven't seen those before. But seeing as this isn't a toy, this is a video game accessory, I'm going with the gaming banner. Also, I am kind of doing this one-handed on the phone cam. I'm at my parents' house, and I didn't bring my my camcorder and tripod with me, so I'm kind of doing this with the phone. And also, Greg was not able to make it tonight. He had a family emergency and had to cancel. So I'm kind of just doing this by holding this, because I don't have a stand or anything. But let's just move on, shall we? This is the Dragon Quest Slime Controller for PlayStation 4, made by Hori, who are very well known for making, custom, not really custom, but, special controllers and arcade sticks and whatnot. This is a product that was released alongside Dragon Quest XI in Japan, and this is a Japanese product. While Dragon Quest XI has been slated for release over here, I don't know of anything regarding the controller itself, so at the moment I'm just going to assume that I made a good choice in just getting this right away. It is an official licensed PlayStation product, and he even has a little a text box up here that says, "I'm not a bad slime, I'm a wireless controller. Aren't you just?" This is very reminiscent of the slime controller they did for the PlayStation 2 when Dragon Quest VIII came out, and that actually did release over here. So who knows? This may actually get an American or European release, but for now it's just Japanese only. I got this off of Hobby Link Japan. I actually pre-ordered this like months ago. I think back in like April or something like that when I pre-ordered this, and it just came in last week. I stopped by my house and picked it up. I didn't pick up my camera while I was there because I'm stupid. Yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing for my first video this week. So he's in one of these little window boxes. The sides of the lower part of the box here, they just have some, I guess, pertinent info in Japanese. There's some more gubbins down there, and there's also another little slime that's saying stuff down here. Basically, not exact words, but something to the effect of, the first time that you use this, make sure that you know how to connect it properly to your PS4, look in the instructions, yada yada yada. And you can even see some of the buttons on the controller itself. Let's go ahead and take them out, shall we? This is one of those kind of window boxes that has a lot of tabs on it. Thankfully, no tape. So I'm just kind of doing this one-handed like. So I do, please pardon the camera work. Now the tricky part's going to be getting this whole big piece out and not dropping the slime. Oh, this will work, actually. Let's do this. Alright. Sorry. Let's get that out there. This plastic bit off to the side. And also, this little bit down here is with the grass on top is actually another box full of things, which we'll get to later. Sorry. One-handed is awkward. Alright, so let's take a look at the controller or slime itself. As you can see, it's very much a Dragon Quest slime. I'll just put it on here for now, like it was. It doesn't look very much like a controller from the front. I mean, you obviously saw some of the buttons in the back, but the buttons are all on the underside here. So you've got pretty much everything you can expect from a standard PlayStation 4 controller. There are some things when you compare it to a DualShock that this does not feature. And I'll get to those when I get to them, but overall, it's very basic. It's very much for use in like Dragon Quest XI and other RPGs. And if I can just sit this here and it won't roll around, I can't make any guarantees, I'll stand it like this. Here is a standard DualShock 4 for comparison. But yeah, got your analog sticks here. They actually have kind of a concave feel to them, unlike again, the standard DualShock has kind of like a bit more of a convex thing. inside of the rim, this part kind of raises up, whereas it's completely concave on the sticks here. I actually kind of prefer this, but I mean, I don't hate the way the other one is, but I do have a preference for this. And also, they click in for L3 and R3 respectively. You've got your control pad and your face buttons, the triangle, square, circle, and X, or cross if you prefer. I've been hearing that a lot more lately. Sorry, my finger's in the way. I've been hearing cross a lot more lately than X. I guess that's the official term, but I've been using X all my life, so there you go. The D-pad has a weird kind of texture to it. Takes some getting used to. But also those controls are kind of rotated outward because of how you hold this around the edge, so that your thumbs will more naturally rest in these kind of positions rather than just the straight-on ones when you're holding the handles. You've got your touchpad here. The touchpad works great, and it even clicks as it's supposed to. Just quick up here, you got your shoulder buttons. Sorry, L1, R1, L2, R2. Something to note, difference between this and the DualShock. Rather than having analog triggers, this just has standard digital clicky button triggers. It's just kind of a preference thing, more or less, but there's no... But if you... I don't know of a lot of games that will... where analog control on the triggers will really matter that much. I mean, I know some games that use them, but again, not really something that matters that much. I mean, I don't really care either way. And you got, of course, your standard... I think that's a micro USB charger for port for charging. You got your share and options buttons, which are actually made out of a soft rubber sort of button material, kind of like the same sort of stuff you'd find with the start and select buttons on like an NES or SNES controller, or even older PlayStation controllers. And you got this turbo button here, which the standard DualShock does not have. The turbo button is a pretty nifty thing. I don't really use it that much. Like I said, the only game I've really played this with is Final Fantasy XIV. But the turbo button does work, at the very least. There's a turbo function where you can... that has two settings. You can either have it so that it does rapid fire if you hold down the button, or rapid fire even if you're not even touching the button. The turbo works with any button on here. I've even gotten it to work with shoulder buttons. And according to the instructions, from what I could make out, it even works with certain degrees of the analog stick being moved. PlayStation button, very important there. And then there's this LED down here. Right just between these two buttons here. That basically serves the same purpose as the, if I may bring it out here real quick, the light bar on the DualShock. The light bar is, at least on the original style controllers, is kind of a useless but pretty thing. It basically glows different colors depending on what you're doing in the game. Usually it'll glow certain colors depending on what player you are. So if you're player 1, it'll turn blue. If you're player 2, it'll turn red. Player 3 will turn green. Not sure about player 4. Haven't tried that yet because this is the fourth controller I've gotten, and I only have 2 other controllers with me right now. Yeah, this basically serves the exact same purpose. So, like, if it's charging, it will pulse. I think this pulses white instead of yellow, but normally it pulses yellow. But if you're player 1, then it's blue. Even with certain games, it'll change different colors. Like if you're playing Super Meat Boy, it will turn red, and if you're playing Saints Row 4, it'll turn purple. And there are even certain games, probably the best example being Resident Evil Revelations 2, where it will actually, change different colors depending on how your health is doing. So if you're at full health, it'll be green, and then it'll go down to, as you lose health, it'll go down to yellow and red. And the light bar does that on the DualShock 4, but you can't really see it because it's facing away from you. Well, here you'll be able to see that, so it's kind of like, with certain games, a little bit helpful for you too. And it's not too bright. It does, it does face your face more or less, but it is a nice dim, very mellow light, and it doesn't bother anything. But yeah. So there are a few other things I should point out that this controller does not do. First off, there's no force feedback. If you prefer controllers to rumble as you play the game, this might not be for you. Also, and probably more importantly, is that there is no 6-axis control in this. There's no motion control. So if you're playing games like Gravity Rush, Tearaway, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture that you need to have motion controls, this controller will not work for you. But like I said, this is pretty much just set up to play like Dragon Quest and by extension any other kind of RPGs on the PlayStation 4. And like I said, I've been using it for that, and it's worked out pretty nicely. I haven't played any more like action-intensive games. I do intend to try it, because I kind of sort of want to make this my main controller, but yeah, I like it. And also, it doesn't look like it's very comfortable to hold. I mean, I'm barely holding on to it, but that's just with one hand. Yeah, it doesn't look like it would be very comfortable to hold, but you'd be wrong. It's actually quite nice. I haven't had any problems holding it, no hand cramps or anything like that. It's just it feels really nice to hold. So let me put this off to the side, and we're going to open up this box here. This box has some more accoutrements for the controller. This actually just kind of opens up like this, and there's another slime inside, basically saying the same thing as he says on the back here. It's about the hooking up to the PlayStation. Let me just put this stuff off to the side. First off, you've got the instructions. Yes, this kind of unfolds on its own. We'll put that off over there. Alright, so here's the instructions. They are all in Japanese, but I was able... I mean, obviously it's a Japanese product, so it would be. But I was able to garner enough from the instructions to find out how things work. So that's really nice. And you do need to understand, like... Because here's the stuff on pairing. It has some, some nice illustrations to help you out, because it's all in Japanese. Also has this turbo functionality and whatnot. Because something to note about the pairing it to a console or syncing it to a console, it doesn't work the same way as with a DualShock 4. With a standard DualShock 4, you can just plug it in with your USB charge cable, push the PS button, and Bob's your uncle. But with the Slime controller, it actually hooks up as or it interacts as a Bluetooth device. So you actually have to put it into a syncing mode, and then go into your menu, and it'll pop up even in English. Even shows on the instructions there. It'll pop up in English with Slime controller. So even if you live in the States and you got one of these, it comes up just fine. So yeah. Next most important thing is the charge cable, and this is a standard. The standard kind of micro. It is micro USB. I keep getting micro USB and mini USB mixed up. I think it's mini USB. It's one of the two. Does it say there? No, it just says USB cable. Fuck it. But yes, it's just a standard USB cable charge case. Same sort of thing with the that comes with well, not necessarily comes with a DualShock, but comes with the system, or is used for charging DualShocks. This is a very nice one, though. It's 2 meters long, and that's a really big pet peeve of mine. Whenever things come with charge cables, they're never long enough to do anything with. I think the last time I saw a good long charge cable was with the DS and the Vita, and then nothing afterwards. Like phone chargers are only maybe a foot long. I mean, I got this charge cable right here. This came with my my wireless headset, and that's all you got with it. I kind of use that to charge my controllers. Like I'll use one controller, and then when the controller runs out, I'll go and plug it in, and then have a second controller to use as backup. Actually, there's something I did forget to mention with the controller. Speaking of headsets, this actually doesn't have. There's no speaker on this, and there's also no headset port, so you can't use wired headsets with it. I use a wireless headset normally, so I'm fine. But if you do use a wired headset, it won't be compatible with your Slime controller, so sorry about that. And then lastly, we have this here. the stand. Just a kind of a hunk of plastic here. And it has Dragon Quest written on it, and it has basically indentations to put that will accommodate like the buttons and everything on the one moment. Sorry about the jump cut there. I was tending to the dog. Anyway, there's some indentations here for basically like these big indentations here for where the control sticks go, and they're even inlaid with little slime outlines there. And then there's this little slot here. Now this slot is actually kind of really cool. You can see where it kind of bends up in the back of the slot. The back of the slot actually coincides with where the light is. That LED that acts as the life bar. So if you put this on the stand, I know there really isn't a good way to show this, but actually yes there is. Let's actually turn it on. See there, it turns on. It's turning on my PS4 as well because it's already synced up to it. But let's go ahead and put this on the stand here. And the slot actually transfers, like it leads the light to the end of the slot, so you can see the LED come through in there even when it's on the stand there. So that makes it really useful if you're charging it. Then you'll know like when it's charging and when it's done and whatnot. So that's kind of a cool thing. But yeah, that's the Dragon Quest Slime controller for PS4. Like I said, I have been using it. It works really well. I like the aesthetic because I'm big on Dragon Quest, big on slimes, and it's a really nice controller. I really dig it. I'd wish that it did have like stuff like motion control and whatnot, so I could play other games that need that with it. But for basic stuff like even playing Final Fantasy or whatever RPGs, I guess even basic action games, it's going to be it's pretty useful for that. And in the upcoming days, I'm going to be playing Dragon Quest Builders as part of the Let's Play, and I'm actually going to be using this controller to control it. So, look forward to that. I'm actually going to start recording that soon, but you'll start seeing the videos coming in tomorrow. And it is coming off of our past live streams, so go ahead and watch the live streams if you want to know what's going on, because it's not going to be at the very beginning of the game. I can tell you that right now. This is the slime controller. I got mine off of HobbyLink Japan. I don't know how prolific these are. Hori does make a lot of these kind of controllers and whatnot, but they are usually limited in distribution. I remember lamenting for the longest time that I wasn't able to get a PS2 slime controller, but I got a PS4 one now, so that makes up for it. I got this. I think they usually retail for, I want to say, 9,000 yen, which is around $90. HobbyLink Japan usually sells things at a discounted price, so I was able to pay a little bit less for it. I think it was actually overall, I think it was like less than, or maybe like just like a little over $90 after shipping. So that was cool. That's where I got mine. You can probably find this on a whole bunch of other, Japanese specialty sites like AmiAmi or PlayAsia.com. I mean, they're more just video game oriented, most in general, and they're based in Hong Kong. But still, I know for a fact you can get these off PlayAsia. AmiAmi has them. I'm fairly sure AmiAmi has them anyway. But I got mine off of HLJ. I don't know where I'm going with this. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut this here. I definitely recommend this controller if you like Dragon Quest and like slimes, and I'm going to use it to play Dragon Quest Builders for the Let's Play. So until then, I've been Rado Goji, and I'll be here next time. Join me, won't you?